Yo, what's up guys, Jolty is near, and today I'm going to be showing you how to format your text on Steam like this, so it's nice and centered, and I'm going to show you how you can get this bold and nice blue text, and how you can get these links with it going all the way to the edge here, so it looks really nice and professional. But before that, you should know I'm doing giveaways in my Steam group. Once you join the Steam group, just invite your friends to the group, and then you'll be entered to win keys like game keys and other things like that. So make sure you join this group, the link's in the description below. And with that being said, let's get right onto the video. And I want the profile on the right to look the exact same as the profile on the left for the top info box. To do that, the first thing you need to do is go into your edit profile page, scroll down to your summary. It's actually called summary, but I call it like info box and the bio sometimes. But this is the actual name. Yours is going to look different, but I'm just going to start with a clean one. And what you can do at the start is go to this link. It's called text formatting. And this is a really nice list and collection of all the formatting types that there are on Steam. And you can just copy them really easily. Just go over it and press copy, which is Control-C, and then paste it in, Control-V. And I want this text to look blue like the header text here, and I want it to be bold as well. And when you're doing this, you need to actually put the header first, and then inside of that you need to put the bold. And then in here you can just write what you want. So for me, I'm going to put online content creator, just like it says in that other profile. Okay, so I finished typing that, and then you need to copy the end portion of it, which is just the exact same, it just has a slash in the front of the H1 here. So you can easily type this out. You just need to put square brackets, a slash, and that's a forward slash, and then the code. It's that easy, and then if we save that and check how it looks, it'll look something like this. My background is invisible for the top portion here because I have the enhanced theme. I plan on doing a video on that in the future. So now that we have the basics done, let's get a little bit more in depth here, and I'll show you how to center it properly and all that good stuff. Alright, so personally I like filling in the text first, and I make sure to put no view more info on this because I don't like the way how it looks. So I only use 4 lines here, and so I would just press enter after this, and then I would type in main profile. After that, Steam group, and then finally YouTube. So now these will just look like text on your profile. I'll show you how it looks real quick. See, it doesn't look that great here, you can barely see it on this, but on like a normal Steam client, I'll show you how it looks. And this is what yours should look like if you're following this closely. Let's go back into edit profile, and let's go back into the text formatting tab here. So we want these 3 to be bold, so all we have to do is copy the first bold thing here, and this helps your text get formatted better so it looks neat, and you can just do that for all 3 of these. Then if we go and check how this looks, now it should be bold, and it should be a little bit more visible, right? And then finally we're going to put a website link to these. Okay, so if we go back to this formatting page, you just copy the end portion first, and then add it to all the pieces of text that you want to have a link to the website, and then we can copy this first portion here, and copy that, and I'll paste it. And when you're pasting the URLs, make sure you paste them on the outside of the bold text pattern, the text formatting portion. So now that we have all of these pasted here, we can just go ahead and select the portion inside that says steam.steampowered.com, and you can just delete that because that's the actual portion that you need to insert your URL. The only part that you need from the URL is this part here where it has the brackets and the URL equals. So let's just go ahead and delete these for all of them. There we have it. Now that we have that finished, let's go and collect the links to paste in here. So for my main profile, I want that linked to my main Jolty is near profile. So I just go to my profile, right click on the page and copy page URL. And then I would paste it right after the equals sign. And make sure you don't paste it anywhere else because then it won't work out properly. So we have the main profile finished. Now we're going to get the Steam group. And for the Steam group, I want it to link to the Jolty is near YouTube Steam group. And let's copy that and paste it in right after the equals sign. And there we go. And for the YouTube, I want it to link to my YouTube account. So I'll copy that URL and paste it right into there. And I actually pasted it wrong, I pasted it outside of the bracket. So I just press Ctrl-Z to undo that because it needs to be inside of that bracket with the URL. So there we have it. Now let's press save and see how it looks. Alright, so this is looking close to finished here. And this is what it looks like on the Steam client because you can't see it very well on the website. But if you click on these, then it should link to the URL that you pasted into the URL box. So that one works, this one works, and finally this one seems to work as well. Alright, so since that's all done, all we need to do now is just center all of these so they look a little bit more professional. So let's go back into the edit profile page here. And this is where it gets a little bit confusing. Your code looks really nice right now, and it might look really messy once you start this. So you need a special character that's invisible, because if you just add a bunch of spaces in here, like I'm spacing the main profile, and then I click save and go back to look at it, it doesn't add any spaces on that. So you actually need a special character, and I suggest you just go to my profile and copy one single one of these, just Control C, so it's copied right there. And in the description down below, I have a link to my Steam group, and you can actually just go from my Steam group and then scroll down all the way to the group members, and then on the administrators page it'll say my profile. It's the Jolty is near that's level 100, but you could probably use any of these because they all have the special character. So once you've copied that one single piece, you just need to go back into this, and I'd suggest deleting all of the spaces in these, and then you can like add maybe 15 of them. I don't know, I'm just doing a random like amount right now, just to try and space it out, because you need to do a lot of like saving, editing, going back to refix it every single time you do this. And I have a few tools that can actually help you out to make it a little bit quicker. But right now we're just doing we're just estimating what the center is going to be, and obviously it's going to be off quite a bit. Okay, so it's off quite a bit here. I actually forgot to do the first one, but there's actually tools online. I have this here. I'm your link. It's a really simple like post here. Just save this image, and I'm saving it to my desktop. It's a PNG image that you can put in Photoshop or any photo editing program, and then you can just take a screenshot of this and line it up properly. If you don't have a screenshotting program, you can download LightShot. I'll put this in the description below. It's called prnt.sc if you can't find the link. And in the top right of this website, you can just click on download LightShot for free. And you can download it for Windows or for Mac. So I'll just download that. Make sure you press keep so it saves. And we can close out of the LightShot download now. And I'm going to be doing this in Photoshop, but if you don't have Photoshop, I know that Gimp is a really nice, it's kind of like Photoshop, but it's free. And it has most of the features that Photoshop has. It's just free and it's really easy to get. You can just download it here in this. You can just search for it in Google or type in www.gimp.org. The download's right here. Make sure you download the latest version. And if it doesn't take you to this page, just click on the downloads in the top left. And you can download this for Windows or for Mac. Okay, so now I'm going to take a screenshot of this part here. You want it to line up with this, like try and get the best screenshot that you can, because this is where it goes to. This is where the text box ends, right at the edge of the showcase, your first showcase. And the text box starts like maybe like 10 pixels about away from your profile image. So let's just try and get a good screenshot here. And what I really like about this print screen program is that you can line it up really nicely with the edges here. You can change it after you take the photo, or you can change it after you like select the defined range. So you can actually line it up perfectly with the edge of your first showcase. Alright, that looks about centered to me. So I'm going to press the save button, and that will save it to my desktop. And now we're going to open up our photo editing program. And this can be like Gimp, Photoshop, anything that works, anything that can have like clear images should work, because this is a transparent image. So we're going to drag that over into the workspace. Then we're going to drag the screenshot that we took of our text, and I'm holding Shift and Alt to make it a little bit bigger here so it's easier to work with. And make sure you drag your screenshot to the bottom layer. And sometimes this is a little bit hard to see in Photoshop, so I like to make a background layer that's black. Alright, so I put a grayish layer in the background, and now we can see that this is like not lined up very much at all, but for the line layer, that should be on top. You can see the center here because this has like a double white bar, so you can see the center really easily. And from here we can just keep on editing our profile. So go back into edit profile, make sure you have the little piece of invisible text selected, and then from here we can just keep on copying and pasting that to make it centered. So this roughly looks like I pasted about, I don't know, maybe around like 18 or something. I'm not exactly sure because this character is really small. But let's paste maybe like 9 or 10 more here. I'm not sure how many I just pasted, but that should be way more centered than before. And then on the end, this is for like that little white line at the bottom, so it reaches all the way to the end. let's just paste quite a few in here, I'm not sure how many. And for the Steam group, that one looks a little bit more to the left, so let's paste maybe 15 here. And then let's paste a couple more at the end, just to make sure it gets that line. And if you don't have any links to URLs, this white line at the bottom won't appear for you. So you can just like do the front portion and you don't have to worry about the end portion. And finally the YouTube at the bottom. Let's put maybe 8. And how long did that go? Alright. So let's put about 20 more at the end. Okay, and now for the top portion, which I forgot to do, the online content creator. Let's put about 23. And for the online content creator, it's not a link, so I only have to do the front portion and not the back portion. Okay, so that should be looking a little bit better now. Let's check it out. Alright, so it's almost lined up. I think the YouTube and Steam group actually look almost centered. But then again, just press print screen and then it takes the picture. Make sure to try and line it up with the edges equally here. Then let's just save that screenshot. And we can actually delete the old screenshots here that we had before because we don't need them anymore. And you can just delete them from your composition as well. Let's drag in the new one and make it a little bit bigger here, holding Shift and Alt so it centers, and make sure it doesn't get distorted. And it's already below the lines layer. Make it a little bit bigger here. Alright, from this we can tell that we need to take a little bit off of the online content creator, add a couple more to the main profile, and same goes for the Steam group and YouTube. So just go back into Edit Profile, and let's look at our reference here. And we want this as centered as we can possibly get it. So this R is on the second line, and over on the second line on the left side, we can tell that this isn't touching at all. So let's go back, delete maybe 5 of these. And make sure to be patient when you're doing this because there's a ton of trial and error when you're doing this. It takes a while to get it perfect. And the main profile, let's maybe add 4 to that one. Or 5, I put 5, but I think 5 will line it up even better. And then for the Steam group, same thing, let's put maybe 7 or 8. Okay, there's 7. And you can see the summary here, it actually like went into a window where you can scroll up and down. And that's going to happen when you're doing links and stuff like that because this takes up quite a bit of space. And for the YouTube, let's add maybe 4. And let's see how that works out. Let's go and save that and see how it looks. Alright, so the main profile is looking really nice. The online content creator should be nearly centered by now. The Steam group is looking pretty centered too. I think they're actually a little bit too much. It's really hard to tell with these small characters, but at the bottom here you notice that the YouTube link is actually missing. And that's because I put too many of the invisible characters at the end of this. So it like drags it out and makes it another whole layer. So you need to make sure to watch out for that. If that happens to you, just go back and edit your text, and you can just delete the end of it, and then it should reappear back on your profile. There it is. Alright, so same as last time, let's take a new screenshot. Alright, so we have the new screenshot of our profile summary here. Let's make it a little bit bigger. And make sure you hold Shift and Alt when you're doing this if it's in Photoshop so it's centered and doesn't get distorted. Then press the checkbox. And you want to delete the old ones. You don't have to, but it makes it look way cleaner and it can get really messy if you keep all of the old ones in there. So this is actually looking really good. We made quite a bit of progress here, but it's just a lot of trial and error, and it's actually looking way better than when we first started off. So this should be one of the last edits. So for the top online content creator, let's add maybe 2 of these here, so it'll get lined up probably almost centered. Main profile is actually looking pretty centered already. Maybe just take off 1 in the starting portion. And Steam group is actually looking 100% centered. And the YouTube can go up a little bit more, so let's add 3 characters to that. And I'm going to delete the characters from the end or else then it'll go down. Not all of them, just a couple, because it'll be too many. Let's save that and check how it looks. Alright, so this is looking really good. We made a ton of progress on this, and it's really simple to do. I think this is almost perfect here. You can see these are looking just about centered. I think they're actually probably perfectly centered. Let's take one final screenshot here. Make sure to line it up with your first showcase, the very edge of it. And I'm not sure if you guys can actually see this content because it freezes my screen when I take a screenshot. But there we go. Got the screenshot of the newly updated profile. And let's delete the old one and then import the new one. Press the checkbox. And let's scale this up. And you can scale it to whatever size you want, like you can scale this so the text perfectly lines up with the edges. But you won't get it perfect because this character, because some of the letters, like, they don't match up perfectly. Press the checkbox again, and then, so it looks like the online content creator looks almost perfectly centered. I think it actually might be perfect. Let's actually grab this and line it up with the same lines here. So it looks perfect, actually, perfectly centered on that. And for the main profile, we can drag it up so it's both touching the lines. And we notice that we can change it. We can add one more character to the start of the main profile. The Steam group looks perfectly lined up here. And let's drag this up, scale this up. And the YouTube could be a little bit more centered. So let's add one character to the start of that. And I'll delete a couple of the end characters just so it doesn't stick out and create that view more info box. Alright, since we have that finished, let's go and press Save Changes. Go back to the profile. And now we can see it looks perfectly centered, except the main profile and the Steam group don't line up perfectly. So this is a problem that I actually have quite a bit because on my other profile that I have finished here, you can actually see it's a little bit off on the edge. And that's just because some of the letters, they don't line up, and you can't really fix that unless you change what it says. So maybe instead of main profile, I could change it to like main Jolty is near. I'm not sure, you can't really fix it unless you change the text. But I like to have them lined up at the start, not the end, because it looks a little bit better that way in my opinion. But you can do that however you want to. And then finally, the last step is making sure that the link here goes to the very end. So it looks way better if all these were lined up at the very end. And this is only for the links, it doesn't work for the content creator part, because that isn't a link. You can see on this profile I didn't add any invisible characters to the end of here either, because you can actually select them on other people's profiles like this. So go back into Edit Profile, go down to the summary, and let's take away one from the start of main profile. And then on the end of the main profile, like this text, we can add maybe like 3 of these, and this is just going to line it up. So it makes it a full box. Actually, maybe 5 or 6. And let's do the same thing for the Steam group here. And I think the YouTube might have been perfectly lined up, I'm not sure, but I'll add one just in case. And let's save changes, go back to the profile and see if that works. Alright, so on the edges here, I think this is almost perfect. You can tell if it's perfect by going back into the edit and adding one more each time. And I'll just add 4 of them to the end of main profile, just so you can see how it looks when it sticks out. And I think YouTube was actually a little bit off-centered because I think it's another one of those words that doesn't line up perfectly. So I'll just make sure it lines up with the left side a little bit more than the right side. Alright, save changes, go back to our profile. And this is what happens when you add a little bit too much to the end, because it'll split into 2 lines here. And it's really easy to fix, just go back to main profile and let's delete 5. And this part is basically just all trial and error. So we took away 5, so now that reaches pretty much the end, I'd say. And to be 100% sure, you can just check it, add 1 in to the end of the thing, at the end of the text, go back and see it wasn't perfect last time. It needed 1 more, so let's check if it needs another one. I'll add 1 to the end, save changes, go back to the profile, and it sticks out. So that means we just need to take away 1. And let's save changes, and go to the profile, and that is perfectly centered up there. Perfect on the left side, so it extends text to the center, and then on the right side it's perfectly centered. And then on the right side there's a perfect amount. When you hover over it, the link expands all the way over to the right, all the way over to the left. So you don't have to click it right here, you can click all the way over here, and it'll still go to the same URL. And then you can just do the same for the rest of these. So for the Steam group, you can line it up with the finished product at the top here. So I'd say it needs maybe 3 or 2 more of them. And then for the YouTube, probably needs quite a few more, maybe like 6. So let's add 2 to the Steam group at the very end. And let's put 3 at the very end, or let's put 6 at the very end of YouTube. Alright, save changes, back to profile. And now this is looking pretty good. I think the Steam group might need 1 more, and let's check if it does. Alright, add 1 more each time. Okay, so it was perfect before, so we need to just delete 1 at the end. And then the YouTube ended a little bit shortly, so let's add 4 more. And let's save changes, back to profile again. Okay, so we can't see the YouTube link actually, so that means it's a little bit too long. And in this, if you click view more info, you can actually see how long the links go if it's not on your info box at the top. And I think that needs like maybe 2 less, but let's just do it 1 at a time for now because it might only need 1 less. So just go to the end of the YouTube, delete. Back to the profile again. Yep, it needs more than 1 taken away, so let's delete another one. Save changes, here we go. And so we were actually a little bit like off because we had 3 too many so far. Alright, there we have it, perfectly lined up. And this is how it should look if you have the Steam Enhanced on your extensions, or whatever version of browser you're using. There's a Steam Enhanced version for it. Even like Opera has it. Or Opera, I'm not sure how to say it exactly. But if we look on the actual Steam client here, and go to my Captivating Cube profile, it should look perfectly done. This is the final product. And this actually looks really nice. It's a great thing to have on your profile because it's at the very top, so everybody's going to see this, and this is going to be like one of their first impressions of you. And I would suggest not using like these links to troll people or anything like that, because I know some people put like a view more info box here as a link and it's fake, and it just takes you to like some like weird websites or something like that. And actually a bunch of websites are blocked from this method, so you might have to change what website you're actually linking to. But all in all, it looks really great. And if we go to my main profile here and check out how I did it here, it's the exact same method. And the links line up. Actually, I think that one might be 1 short, but it's really hard to tell. You don't have to have it exactly perfect because I think I actually went and added 1 onto this, and then it stretched it to 2 lines. But you can use this method for your info box too, like down here. And that's exactly what I did. I just kept on taking screenshots of the whole thing, saving it, putting it into Photoshop, and then lining it up accordingly. And I did this for each and every single link. I put bold on the YouTube link because I liked it a little bit better, but I think I might take that away because it looks a little bit off. For some of the links, it actually says discord.gg at the very bottom. I just put it all the way down to the bottom here by doing the same method. And there's actually a way to remove these links, but it doesn't work for some websites. Like Discord, I don't think you could get it to work. I'll have to do a little bit more research and look at how to find a fix for that, because I know you can definitely do it for some links, but for some it doesn't work. And the next thing I'm going to show you how to do is get rid of the info box at the very top here, the title portion of it. So let's go and edit that. Alright, so we're at the custom info box portion, and the title's right here. Now instead of using that invisible text character from before, you want to select and delete any of the title that you have in there. And this is the very important part that you need to listen to. Remember the code ALT. You want to hold down ALT and type in 0173. And then it should be an invisible character right here, and you shouldn't be able to select it. And if everything worked out correctly, once you save the changes and go and look at it, you shouldn't have a title for your info box, just like this. There's no title there. And when you hover over it, it'll glitch out like this. But nobody else will be able to see that if they're on your profile because you're the only person that can edit your profile. And this same method actually works for your artwork showcase, for the title of your artwork. For this artwork I used the invisible character that I used up here, but let's actually change that. You can just click on it and then go to the shared files. You can just edit the description. And if you own the artwork, it's on your profile, you can just go and click on edit title and description in the right side of owner controls. And you can actually make the title the same exact thing as your info box. So just make sure there's nothing in here, delete everything, and then hold down Control, and at the same time press 0173, and then let go of Control, and then press save. Your changes have been saved, okay. So now we just close out of those, and let's refresh the profile. And there we have it. No title at all. So this is actually like a really minor thing that you can change. but it tells people, like, if they notice this, that you really care about your profile. Like if a designer's looking at your profile or something, or you want to be in top profiles or something like that, then you can notice the tiny little bit of change that was done here to make sure there was no title. Sometimes I like the title as like 3 little dots, but I like the invisible title even better. Alright guys, with that tutorial being done, I hope you guys learned how to do this. If I didn't explain it properly or you need some help, just comment down below. I'll be sure to respond to you, and if you need any help on anything else, I'll be sure to respond to you too. And if you want to enter into next week's top profiles list, just go to the Steam group, the Jolty is near Steam group, it's down in the description. The pinned discussion called Top Profile Entries, just click on that, and then just submit your profile link into that just like these people did. And I'll be sure to check out your profile, and if your profile looks really nice, I'll put it into an episode, so make sure to keep on improving your profiles, guys. And lastly, can you guys go and follow my Twitter, because I'm trying to get followers for my YouTube, so I don't have to make update videos, and I can update you guys really quickly on here if anything happens, like, I don't know, like, I don't really know what would happen, but just for emergencies or stuff like that, if something gets hacked maybe. But I'd really appreciate it if you could go and follow my Twitter. It's in the description below, there's a link to it, and I post video updates here, so if you don't get updated, you can see them straight from Twitter. And thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next episode. Peace out, guys.